eso es precisamente lo que vengo a hablar en este podio, en la Asamblea General de las Naciones Unidas, de libertad. Yo vengo de un pueblo que durante mucho tiempo se vio a sí mismo como menos que los demás. Vengo de un pueblo donde nunca habíamos tenido el valor de tomar nuestras propias decisiones. Vengo de un pueblo donde nuestro destino siempre fue controlado por otros. Vine hasta acá a pararme en este podio en un formato en el que ya no creo, para decir algo que lo más probable es que de todas maneras no cambie la forma de que los países poderosos ven a los demás. Pero tal vez sí cambie la forma en que los países en vías de desarrollo nos vemos a nosotros mismos. Si después de estas cortas palabras he logrado algo de eso, o al menos que un puñado de individuos que se verán a sí mismos con respeto y que sepan que son capaces de construir su propio camino, entonces valió la pena venir hasta acá, a hablar en este formato obsoleto.
This is a developing story because, yes, in fact, this whole gang issue has put the Bukele administration at odds with Washington.
President Bukele, operating with the support of residents and Congress, which first approved a state of emergency that allows for all new detainees to be held for 15 days without access to an attorney. A move that human rights groups say is creating a framework for abuse.
El Salvador was the most dangerous place to live. It was the murder capital of the world. And now we're on our way to be the safest country in the whole American continent.
There are definitely things that a country like El Salvador could do that includes, justice reform, independent criminal investigations, community-based interventions. And those things could be discussed and debated if the president would listen.
Y no me importa lo que digan los organismos internacionales, que vengan a proteger a nuestra gente, si tanto los quieren. Se los entregamos todos al 2 por 1.
In March, after a murder spike, the country declared a state of emergency. That meant people could be arrested without a warrant. The Salvadoran Congress has extended that state of emergency till late May. Police continue to round up young men en masse. Inevitably, along with the guilty, human rights groups say the innocent have been taken. So many have suffered extortion, rape, killing, that even if some innocents have to suffer, others believe that's a price worth paying if they can simply be free. The question is if at the end of all the arrests, confusion and brutality, this will actually work.
Mi tercer y último anuncio, el más importante de los 3 que daré esta noche, es que hoy declaramos la guerra contra la corrupción. Vamos a perseguir la corrupción en todos los niveles. El Salvador ya es otro país. Muchas gracias.
We like when they attack us. We're just doing our own thing, what we think is best. If they call us authoritarian or democratic or, I don't know, neo-communist, whatever negative attribute they can assign to us, it's filtering out the people that follow them. So authoritarian, I don't see it as much of an issue. Probably I see it as more of a benefit right now. It gives us more time to build.
No sé, petita en la tarde, tipo 3, ¿no? Okay. Bye.
People are choosing the state of exception. I mean, the state of exception is in a higher popularity percentage than my own brother's popularity. I mean, he'll be against the people. That would be authoritarianism. I mean, we're doing what the people want. I mean, we're not doing anything different. The people elected my brother as a leader. So if the leader says, okay, we're going there because I feel that that's where you should go, and the people say yes, okay, we'll go there. But I mean, I don't feel authoritarianism. I feel that it's the most close society to democracy right now in the world, closer to what the people want. I mean, multilaterals and all of the polls say that 90% approval or more or around. So, I mean, for me, that's democracy. Is democracy can be done everywhere? I don't know. But in here, it's the closest thing to a democracy that I can think of. And I'm not saying, oh, yes, democracy is the best. I don't know which is the best system. There is the system that we live in here and in the most of the world. And, I mean, I agree it's not a bad system. But the thing is that it's been corrupted in most places now. The bad guys won, probably for a while.
People in the space of a year isn't regularly arrested by police anywhere else in the world, and that this is a unique situation with unique powers given to the security forces to make arrests on site according to criteria deemed by them.
You cannot arrest 70,000 people because you don't have 70,000 murderers, because you're not the murder capital of the world. Every study made by the World Bank, by the NGOs, by the experts, established that there were at least 70,000 gang members and 500,000 collaborators. So why do we have the biggest incarceration rate in the world? Because we changed the world's most dangerous country into the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. And the only way to do that is to arrest all the murderers. There's no other way to do it.
President Bukele, can you reassure the public here and in the United States that we're going to see a reduction in the brutal violence that we've seen recently?
Murder is murder. So we'll get anybody that commits a crime, if it's a gang member or a police officer or a government official or whomever. I mean, he could be a priest or I don't know. If he commits a crime and we know he has committed a crime, we'll get him and we'll put him in jail. Or do you expect that we, because we're Salvadorans or something, because we're second-class citizens, we have to die? They have to kill our families, they have to kill our children because your liberal ideas of what a democracy should be have to be respected, and we, since we're not using your recipe, then we have to be killed, we have to let our children be killed, we have to let the bloodshed to go on for 50 years because of imported policies from your countries, because your countries have lectured us. In the 80s, the war. You had a fight with the Soviet Union, had nothing to do with us. What did you do? You financed El Salvador to fight a war between brothers. And we killed each other, and 85,000 Salvadorans died. After that, 1 million displaced. They went to the US, into ghettos. They formed the gangs, then they deport the gangs. Gangs come here, and then they terrorize the country. They started killing people, and we became the murder capital of the world. Nobody could solve it. More bloodshed, more people were dying. So what do? Okay, we do something and we save people, and now we're the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. But suddenly something's bad. System. We don't tell you that you shouldn't have a monarchy. I mean, we're fine with your monarchy. We love your monarchy. It's fine. But we don't say, oh, you shouldn't have a monarchy and you shouldn't have hereditary titles. Why? Because it's your country. You can do whatever you want with it. So stop trying to make us use your recipes because they don't work here.
Here's where everything is going to be happening tomorrow, here. Today is one day before the elections, and we have been receiving a lot of people from the whole country to get prepared for tomorrow. This is like the main place for the election tomorrow. As you can see, a lot of people working today. We believe that his decisions are the ones that are changing the course of the story of this country. And what brought me here was faith. Faith in changing El Salvador, because we weren't meant to be great, and we're being great at this time. It's a pretty cool place to be, changing that course. All the people that are around here are trying to be part of that, following the leadership of President Bukele. I've been receiving calls from Japan, I've been receiving calls from Australia, I've been receiving calls from China, I've been receiving calls from actually the whole world, wanting to know through the press how is going to be this process. Japan, the biggest TV broadcasters in Japan are here for covering the election. That's the first time in El Salvador happening, because the whole world wants to know of this great thing happening. There's no other politician in the world which has a 90% of approval. 9 out of 10 people in this country are with President Bukele. This country was the most dangerous in the world. We couldn't go outside before, and now there's freedom here. Our next mission is our work. Continue working for no more violence, better politics for economy, like the schools, they're going to be better, but for that, for doing those steps, we have to be beside him. This vision that he's trying to bring us to this country, which is a vision of better things and peace for all Salvadorians.
¡Qué bien! ¡A ganar! Vamos, el país el que gana. Bueno, mire, todo lo que pasaba aquí en el centro histórico era imposible hace un par de años. Aquí aparecían cabezas decapitadas, asaltaban. Esta calle era la frontera entre las dos pandillas. Y hoy miren cuántos salvadoreños andan libres en su país. Hay gente que tenía 40, 45 años de no venir al país que lo vio nacer. Aquí ha venido gente de Canadá, de Australia, de todas partes de Estados Unidos, de Europa, salvadoreños que se fueron por la guerra o salvadoreños que se fueron por las pandillas, pero quieren venir a regresar aquí a retirarse. Es un fenómeno que nunca habíamos vivido antes como salvadoreños.
Pues el país sí ha sufrido un cambio bastante sustancial. A como estábamos antes, ahora ha cambiado bastante. Bueno, prueba de hecho es que andamos tranquilos a esta hora de la noche, andamos con la familia y todo bien. ¿De ir a votar? Sí, voy a votar. La decisión creo que es bastante obvia, a ver.
Es que en la mañana puedes ir al cerro, por ejemplo, y en la tarde, al mediodía, puedes ya estar en la playa. Yo no he vivido en una zona como que muy caliente, como le decimos, pero sí he tenido muchos amigos muy cercanos que han vivido como en lugares como La Campanera y he ido a visitarlos. Entonces, hace un par de años, imposible. Si yo llegaba, no salía. Entonces, hoy llegué y volví a salir. Ya con eso es un súper avance. La gente que vive allí mismo lo dice. Y así muchos amigos que tengo que viven en Soyapango, lo mismo te lo dicen. Se respira un ambiente completamente distinto.
Aunque se hable de dictadura y se hable de que hay cosas pues, que han sucedido, ¿verdad? Pero hay mucha gente que está muy contenta con lo que ha pasado. O sea, hay mucha gente que perdió a sus familiares, amistades. Hubo mucho derramamiento de sangre con el tema pandillas. Y esa gente es la que va a dar nuevamente el voto. O sea, no quiere volver a experimentar.
We're here with a global network of young politicians. What we're doing is we're helping out with the process as international observers. We're from 38 different countries. I'm from Honduras, and we're here taking everything in consideration so that the process is a transparent process and there's no complications. It's important about this process. It's a very historical process. Nayib Bukele, the president, he is being re-elected, which is first time in El Salvador to happen, right? So that brings another interesting aspect to the table. So this is an election that's being watched by the whole world. When you're in an international election, you want to see that the voting stations were open on time, that they stay open for the time remaining, that they don't close ahead of time. You want to be sure that there's representatives in every voting station from El Tribunal, which is the ruling power for the electoral magistrates.
Dentro de lo personal considero que es una elección atípica por el hecho de que no hemos visto nunca en la historia del país una reelección, que es parte del panorama que se está viviendo. Entonces por eso también es importante el ejercicio democrático. Algo que no se puede ocultar en El Salvador es el avance que ha tenido en estos últimos 5 años en el tema de seguridad. Eso nadie lo puede ocultar, ni independientemente la oposición. Dimos la página el tema de la inseguridad, pero ahora el tema de la economía creo que es algo muy importante.
Today we're gonna make history. Es un día histórico para El Salvador. I would like to share with you who I actually already voted for. Here it is. This is what you're looking for. This is what you're looking for. And of course, my vote is for the people. For the people. Nayib Bukele. He is like the internet. When the internet came, it changed the world. It changed the way of life. That's what he did for our people. That's what he did for El Salvador. He's got God on his side. Nothing could have been done without God. So yes, absolutely. We have been liberated. We have true and real liberty. Not only that, our country was reborn.
I wonder what's in the stamp.
I don't know. But I mean, it lasts a while. I mean, several days.
Yeah.
So that people don't vote a second time.
Yeah.
First time that I vote. First time. We left the country during the Civil War, and I was always afraid to come back, you know, for all the violence and all the bad things that happen in the country. But now that everything is getting better, so I decided to come and give my vote to, you know, to make a better country for everybody. I would like to see more opportunities for people to have better jobs, and if they can avoid, you know, the poverty, because I see there's still too much poverty in this country, and there are not many opportunities for the young people.
But we can clearly see the signs of a declining society because our own hit rock bottom decades ago. It's like when we see someone getting sick. First, it's maybe just stomachache, or a headache, or a small fever. But if you don't deal with the disease, it will only get worse. And then it may be too late. Even after our first war in El Salvador, we failed again to look into the signs of the second civil war that was coming, the gang war. After 1 million people fled the first war, a lot of them came to live in ghettos here in the United States, where the gangs were formed. When former President Clinton deported a lot of those gang members without telling us they were gang members, they were criminals. They roamed free and recruited young people, thousands of young Salvadorans, to join the gangs. At first, they seemed like petty criminals, but they began to change and transform until they became the unscrupulous terrorists that we know today. Most of them even perform satanic rituals, and this has been well documented. The government back then didn't deal with the disease, nor did the next administration, nor did the ones after that. The disease that had begun with mild symptoms got worse and worse. It became a cancer that seemed incurable. We are already seeing these symptoms in the United States. Big cities in decline like Baltimore, Portland, New York, just to name a few. Places where crime and drugs have become the daily norm. Did we see these apocalyptic sights 15, 10, 5 years ago? Can you imagine how it will be in the next 5, 10, or 15 years? The same thing was happening in El Salvador. In the span of less than a decade, gangs took control of all the country and our society. They evolved into a parallel government, controlling elections and even political parties. Every aspect of the daily life of most people was controlled by the gangs. Murder capital of the world is a tragic title to hold. Getting rid of that was the bare minimum we had to achieve.
I have known President Bukele for the last, I believe, 19 years. I started really working with him or following him when he was just running for mayor of Nuevo Cuscatlán. I lived in D.C. Actually, I worked for the OAS for 13 years. And he used to go to D.C. and we really talked and we really developed this relationship. I was honored to be named his Minister of Foreign Affairs. I gladly said yes. He is a wonderful, wonderful, brilliant, sensitive man that put his country before him. And I deeply, deeply believe in him. The U.S. should accompany us and believe in us. They never took the time to understand that this country needed a chance and that this country needed changes, deep, deep, deep structural changes. Politically, socially, economically, and obviously people in the United States had developed a deep relationship with past administrations that made a business out of irregular migration. Governments that did not take care of our diaspora, governments that were happy for people to migrate illegally because that represented more remittances to our country. but they didn't really care. I mean, we signed the quote-unquote peace accords, but it was political. It was not a real process to socially, economically make people better.
Este día, El Salvador ha roto todos los récords de todas las democracias en toda la historia del mundo. Nunca un proyecto había ganado con la cantidad de votos que hemos ganado este día. Dicen algunos que no viven en nuestro país, que no conocen El Salvador, que nunca han pasado aquí ni siquiera en una escala en el aeropuerto. Dicen ellos que los salvadoreños viven oprimidos, que los salvadoreños no quieren el régimen de excepción, que los salvadoreños viven con miedo del gobierno. Y yo les digo a los periodistas que nos acompañan esta noche, en total libertad, en total seguridad, aquí en el país más seguro de todo el hemisferio occidental, no me crean a mí, yo solo soy un político, solo soy un funcionario. Créanle al pueblo salvadoreño que se los está diciendo aquí en esta plaza, se lo dijo en todas las encuestas de opinión nacionales e internacionales e incluso de la oposición. Y por si no lo creían, se los digo hoy en las elecciones. No les pedimos nada, no les pedimos dinero, no les pedimos donaciones, no les pedimos ayuda internacional, no les pedimos nada. Lo único que les pedimos es respeto. ¿Y qué dijeron? Está violando derechos humanos. ¿Los derechos humanos de quién? ¿De la gente honrada? No. Tal vez pusimos prioridad en los derechos de la gente honrada sobre los derechos de los delincuentes. Yo le pregunto a estos organismos, a estos gobiernos de naciones extranjeras, le pregunto a estos periodistas, ¿por qué desean que nos maten? ¿Por qué desean ver sangre de salvadoreños? ¿Por qué no están felices de que en nuestro país ya no corre la sangre que corría antes? ¿Por qué debemos morir nosotros y nuestros hijos para que ustedes estén contentos que estamos respetando su falsa democracia que ni ustedes mismos respetan en sus propios países?
What are we worried about? Somebody saying that we are a shithole, like Donald Trump said? Shouldn't it be better if we build a country that's not a shithole? And if someone wants to say it is, well, he's wrong. But right now, I will never call my home like that, but our hospitals are crumbling, our infrastructure is crumbling, our young people are joining the gangs because they don't have a job, because they don't have opportunities, because their families have been torn apart by immigration. Our countryside was very prosperous 50, 60 years ago. Right now, there are no jobs. This opportunity to fix our country, I will not have it again. It's the only opportunity life will give me to do that. So I think we're going to change things around, turn things around, and we'll do it as fast as we can.